Hey guys, welcome to Beyond Bricks. I'm your host, Kevin Stewart. And guys, I think I screwed us up. I think the last podcast I mentioned that we were getting some great weather here in Metro Detroit, and I think I completely jinxed us because 2 days later, I'm not kidding you, 2 days later, the weather completely turned back to traditional March cold, chilly weather. And man, guys, I feel like it's my fault. I joked with some of my friends. I said, guys, I talked about on my podcast all this great weather we've been having, and they all even said, they're like, dude, you totally jinxed us. What did you do? Why would you say that? Why would you even talk about it? It's kind of like when someone's throwing a no hitter in baseball. You don't talk about it. You don't want anybody to talk about it because you're gonna jinx it. Guys, I did that once too. I was at Comerica Park. I was watching Justin Verlander throw a no hitter, and stupid me said it out loud. Actually, in the restroom, I thought people were going to tackle me. I thought people were literally going to throw me out of the stadium for saying it. So maybe it's just a habit I have. Is I just talk too much. Sometimes I just say things out loud, not thinking, because I get excited. If you haven't, it couldn't tell so far, I'm easily excitable. I think it's one of my best traits, but I guess for situations like this, it could be a bad trait. Um, but anyways, guys, I wanted to come at you today and bring some stuff to you today that's very close to me, very near and dear to my heart. I've been a little under the weather. The weather shot back at me, and the last week or so, I've been definitely under the weather. So I apologize if at any point I start coughing or sneezing during this. I've been fighting what I believe is some resemblance of the flu. It's been a little tough this past week. Unfortunately, my family received the same thing, but I am doing the best I can to recover, being very good about drinking a lot of fluids, doing my emergency, which I just drank a little bit ago, having a water boy right now, and doing the best to take care of myself. I'm in this big thing, and you've heard me talk about a lot on here before, of taking care of yourself. I didn't go to the gym for almost a week yesterday and today, got myself back into that routine. So pumping myself and pushing myself to get back into the routine of success and back into the routine of the things that I want to do every single day to become the best version of myself. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. The Mamba mentality, being the best version of yourself, the constant quest to be the best version of yourself. I really, really love what I've learned from Kobe Bryant. And I am a huge basketball fan. I've been a huge basketball fan my entire life. It's my first love when it comes to sports. I played basketball. At least I did the best I could for the gifts that I was given. But I love playing basketball. I love being around the game, love being around the sport. And I will admit to you guys that when he was a player, I was not a huge Kobe fan. Uh, when he was playing for the Lakers, I think it's because I didn't really care for the Lakers. He bothered me. I felt like he was a wannabe Michael Jordan, who I did really like. And I didn't give him the respect I believe that he deserved. Towards the end of his career, I actually started to really like Kobe. Something about him gravitated towards me. But as his career finished and started to really come out about who he was and the persona of who he was as a player, I started to dive in deep. I started to dive in deep on who Kobe was and what he did for the game. And I truly believe the legacy that he left on this earth. I 100% believe that it was the Mamba mentality. It wasn't what he did on the court. It's what he left on the court. He left everything he had. He gave it everything he had every single day because he had this constant quest, this massive pursuit to be the best person he could be. What a way to live your life. And it's so inspirational to me. I've been so inspired by that. And this year, it's 2024. And what better way for myself and my team and my company to focus our mindset than the Mamba mentality, and to say, what are we doing every single day to constantly have a quest? What's the constant quest to be the best version of ourselves? Are we really doing that? Are we just talking about it, or are we doing it every single day? And what are the things that we need to do to focus on that? So what I want to share with you guys today is I want to share with you guys the 5 things. I read a book. It's actually a coffee book that I have at my house. It sits behind my desk at my home. It's awesome. It's called Mamba Mentality, and it is incredible. It goes through stories, players, people that worked with Kobe, people that trained with Kobe, and it's a lot of them. It's talking about who he was and what that was and what the Mamba Mentality was. Very, very neat read. But out of that, I pulled like 10, 15, 20 traits out of that book almost immediately of things that I was like, holy cow, there's so much good in here about what he did and the mentality and the ideas that he had. But similar to what I do a lot of times is I need to narrow that focus down. I got to bring that in and reel that in a little bit. So I took it down to 5 things. And these 5 things, we have something in our company called a playbook. And it's a visualization of what we want to do. It's our game plan. Every game is won through a good playbook. When you're sitting and you're watching coaches on the sidelines, what do they have in front of them? They have a color-coded card in football that shows them all the plays. That's their playbook. Situationally, when this happens and that happens and this goes right and this goes wrong, what are we going to do next? What's the game plan? So what I did is we created a Stewart Team Real Estate Partners playbook that we can look at, that we can gravitate towards, that brings us back, that centers us back to the things that we want to do and the things that we want to be and the mindsets that we want to carry with us on a daily basis. And on that playbook is written Mamba Mentality, and it has in there 5 things that we are going to focus on every day. And I'm super excited because I'm going to share these 5 things with you guys today. And I hope that you can take some pieces from the life of Kobe and the life of what he did and the mindset that he had with him every day and use it in your life. Because I believe if we all do that, we're all going to be better people. And we're going to do so much more for this world and so much more inside this life if we can have a constant quest of becoming the best version of ourselves. So the first thing that we have down is he focused on the fundamentals. If you listen to stories and go back and listen to some of the stories of people that observed him during practice, he started his day early. He started before anybody. He was the first guy in the gym, last guy out, period. He was notorious for finishing up NBA championships and calling his trainer that night and saying, we start at 3 a.m. Win or lose, he started the next day on the next season because it was a constant daily quest to be the best version of himself. But people that saw him in practice and saw his morning routine and how he started his day, working up a sweat at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3, 4 hours before anybody else on the team got there, is he focused on his fundamentals. It said that he worked at least 1 to 2 hours per day on footwork, on his foot drills, things that you learn as an elementary school basketball player, things that by high school most players never do again. They don't ever touch them again, but he was working on his footwork. He did it every single day of his career. He worked on the fundamentals of his game, very simple, basic dribbling footwork drills that most people don't think to do, but he focused on the fundamentals. I'm also a big Tom Brady fan. I love Tom Brady. There was a story that I heard a few years back. He did the match. I don't know if you guys saw or watched, remember that, but he went and played golf. He went and played golf. It was Tiger, Phil, him, and oh goodness, I can't even think of the 4th player. But Tom Brady shows up to the golf course. It is pouring rain. And Tom Brady is outside by his car doing foot drills. He's doing 3, 4-step drops. He's coming back. He's moving side to side, pivoting. And he's doing that for almost 30 minutes in the pouring rain before he's getting ready to go on a nationally televised golf match, something that has nothing to do with football. And guys, think this is early on in the year. He is months and months and months away from starting the next football season. This is when he was getting ready to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Reporter came up to him and said, Tom, what on earth are you doing right now? Why are you out here running around and jogging around with not even a football in your hand? And he said, I'm preparing to win a Super Bowl. That was his response. I'm preparing to win a Super Bowl. He understood that the preparation needed to win a Super Bowl started that day. And it started with the fundamentals, the daily grind of the fundamentals is what wins you championships. What is going to take you to the next level, what is going to elevate you to be the best version of yourself is a focus on the fundamentals. What are the fundamentals that you need to do? What's the basic fundamentals of your career, of your job, of your life? What are those pieces that you need to do? And are you focusing on them every day? The second piece of the Mamba mentality is to be consistent. Guys, I believe that Kobe was super, super consistent. He showed up every single day, whether it was in practice, whether it was at a game, whether it was with the people and the relationships that he had, he showed up every single day. I believe Kobe was super, super consistent. But the second piece to that is you have to play through the pain. Kobe played injured all the time. Michael Jordan did the exact same thing. These guys played all the time. And if you ever listen to and you read up on why they did that, Kobe said he did it because he remembered. He remembered being young and going to a game with his father and sitting back, being so excited to watch his favorite player. Guys, you know who his favorite player was? It was Michael Jordan. He knew that he showed up and that he wanted to see him play. And Kobe, when asked, why do you play injured all the time? He said, because someone's up in the stands that came here to see me. They came here to watch me play basketball, and I'm not going to let them down. I'm not going to be the person that lets them down. That's the true definition of consistency is you will not let anybody down. You have to be the best all the time. You don't get days off. I believe when you become super successful, you don't get days off because you have to be on. You have to be on for the people that are there for you in your life and the people that are watching, the people that are looking on from the outside, from up in the stands. You have to be the best for them. Kobe understood that, so he was consistent. Every day he was consistent and showed up and played, even when it hurt. And how often do we not play through the pain? How often do we just, have an excuse for why we shouldn't, why we can't? We do it all the time, guys. I do it. I know I do it. We do it all the time. We don't play through that pain. I remember being young. I remember going to basketball games, sitting up in the nosebleeds with my father because those were the seats that we could get. And I loved every single second of it. I knew what was sacrificed to get me to that game, and I loved it. My dad didn't even like basketball. He didn't like basketball. He liked spending time with me. Those are some of the best memories I have. I love getting the chance to do that. And I love the people that I got to see on the court. If those guys hadn't showed up, man, that would have had a huge, huge pain on that memory. So what are you doing to show up? What are you doing to be consistent every single day? Because that's a part of the Mamba mentality. The third is you have to fall in love with the process, the daily activity of growth, the daily activity of becoming better. Too often we focus on the results. How often do we stop and we don't finish projects and we don't finish the things that we set out to do because we're not getting the results that we want? I think it's super common, but it's because we're not falling in love with the process. Are you truly in love with the process of getting better? Are you truly in love with that process? I heard a great story, guys. It's March Madness. I love March Madness. It's so fun. We are doing brackets inside of our office. Even the kids that are, I say, a part of our team. To me, they're a part of our team too, because we live life together. We live life with our entire families. And the kids are doing a great job. Robert, one of the kids, he is doing a phenomenal job. He's smoking all of us. Why? He prepared. He probably spent more time on it than anybody, and his bracket is looking really good right now. Mine, not so much. My bracket looks like complete hot fire trash. But I love the fact that he is doing so good. I think it's amazing. But March Madness is fun. My goodness, watching a good comeback story, watching an underdog story, it has everything. It has a little bit of sports, but or everything I love about sports. Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan was one of the greatest coaches out there. He was an amazing coach for Florida, absolutely off the charts basketball coach. There's a story that was told as he had a player that came off of a really bad game. He was 2 for 11, played 38 minutes, came off the court and was super frustrated. He was agitated. He hadn't had a good game. He was upset because he wasn't hitting the shots he normally hit. Billy let him go. He kind of let him fester for the evening. But the next day in practice, he said something to him. He asked him some questions. He said, "Hey, come over here, son. Let's have a conversation about that. How many shots did you hit last night?" He said, "2. Coach, I hit 2 shots." Still frustrated, still super agitated. "How many did you take?" I took 11 shots. I took 11 shots last night. "Okay, that's fine. How long does it take you to shoot a shot?" He said, takes, I don't know, give or take about a second for me to release the ball. I got a pretty quick release, so about 1 second. And he said, "Okay, so that means you're focusing on 9 seconds. Why on earth did you let 9 seconds of the game last night affect the other 37 minutes and 51 seconds of your game? You let 9 seconds affect the other 37 minutes and 51 seconds of your life." Player sat back, said, "I got it, coach. I get it." Because it was more about falling in love with the process. It's the process of getting better. And you want to know what? Some days you're not going to hit the shots. Some days they're not going to go in. Some days you're not going to be and have the results that you wanted. But it's the process that you're going through. It's the effort that you're putting in. It's all the things you're doing in the other 38 minutes and 51 seconds that matter. That's what makes you a champion. That's what makes you great. That's what Billy Donovan was trying to teach his student. He was trying to teach his player an incredibly valuable lesson that goes way, way outside the game of basketball, which is that just because you're not getting the results that you want doesn't mean that you get to go pout in the corner. It means that you get to figure out a better way, another way, a different way. You have to keep going and keep giving the effort at a high, high level. That's Mamba mentality, guys. That's falling in love with the process. That's being real about the daily grind and the growth and knowing that that's super, super important to you and committing to that. The third thing is be real and be authentic. I believe Kobe was real. I believe he was super authentic. And you want to know why I know? Because most people didn't like him. Most people, when he was playing, did not like him. Why? He would say, "Guys, I'm going to shoot." Guys on the team would get super frustrated with him. Be like, "Kobe, you don't ever pass me the ball. You never pass me the ball." When I was young, the reason I didn't like Kobe because I would get frustrated they didn't pass the ball. I felt like that meant that he wasn't a complete player. You want to know what I didn't understand? I didn't understand what Kobe knew, which was that he was the only person on the court that was prepared to take the shot. He was the only person that was there, that was ready to do the things that mattered to win the game. He said, the day you start preparing as well as I do, I'll pass you the ball. But I know what you did the last week. I know what you did in practice, and I know what you did last night. Therefore, I'm not going to pass you the ball. I'm just not going to do it because you are not prepared. I am. I'm going to pass the ball to those who are prepared. I'm going to pass the ball and be a great teammate to those who are prepared. He didn't apologize for that, but he was real. He was authentic. He was tough on practice. He was tough in practice. He would get on players all the time. A lot of players that played with him didn't like him because they didn't understand that. They were like, "Oh, he's being mean to me." Players are thinking that they're being mean to him. No, he was trying to challenge them. He was trying to make them level up to him. He was showing by example as a great leader that, guys, you are not going to outwork me. I'm going to be the hardest working person on this team, period. Period. I may not be the most talented. Guys, Shaq was more talented than Kobe, flat out. He was more talented than Kobe. Shaq may be the most physically talented and gifted player that we've ever seen in the game, but Shaq did not have anywhere near the work ethic of Kobe. Shaq's even admitted, if I had half the work ethic of Kobe, I'd probably be the greatest of all time. But he just didn't have it. He didn't have the Mamba mentality. Kobe was a workhorse. He knew that he had holes in his game. He had some things that he had to overcome. He couldn't jump the highest. He didn't have a 48-inch vertical like Jordan. He didn't have huge hands like Kawhi Leonard. He didn't have some of these things. So what did he have to do? He had to work. He had to work on his fundamentals. He had to go there and he had to work every single day. But he was real and he was authentic. He was constantly real about who he was and what he was. And that was someone who worked. And he was never going to apologize for it. So are you real? Are you authentic? Are you being the person that you're meant to be? And are you sharing that with other people? Or are you trying to be someone that you're not? Are you trying to be someone that you think you're supposed to be inside a bubble? Or are you being the person that you were meant to be? Are you being the person that you're you? I've finished every podcast with that so far because I believe it. I need you to be yourself. We all need to be ourselves. The world needs it, guys. The world needs us to be ourselves. God built you for a reason the way you are. How dare you disagree with him? How dare you disagree and think that you're something else? Be real, be authentic, because the world needs it, and it needs it desperately. The fifth thing, own your circumstances. He owned his circumstances. There was no excuses. Kobe did not give an excuse. I believe in owning your circumstances. I don't do victims anymore. I don't believe in the victim mentality. The victim mentality absolutely drives me nuts. People that constantly are pointing the finger saying, this person did that. What was done to me, wah, 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 all the things that everything happened to them. That's being a victim. I don't like victim. Victim mentality to me is just a huge disservice to the world. We all got crap, guys. We all got stuff that goes on in our life, and truthfully, nobody cares. Why? Because we all have our own crap. We've all got our own stuff we're going through. Are you taking a personal account of your place in that crap? Are you taking a personal account of the things that you're doing in your life that are causing those things? Are you taking it on and saying, look, I'm going to own my circumstances. I'm going to own who I am. I'm going to own where I'm at, and I'm going to accept it, and I'm not going to give any excuses. But what am I going to do? I'm going to do something about it. You can get knocked down all day long. Your choice is if you get up or not. You get to make that decision. You decide whether you get up or not, because life is going to punch you in the face. It is absolutely going to punch you in the face. What are you going to do when you get punched in the face? What are you going to do? That's your decision. You have to decide what you're going to do, because life isn't easy. It's not easy at all. It's super tough. But what are you going to do when you get knocked down? When you get knocked down, what's the decision that you're going to make? I believe Kobe made great decisions when he got knocked down. His life was not perfect. And the times when it wasn't perfect, it was publicized in the news in a very, very tough way. He went through a lot of stuff. He admitted that he wasn't perfect, but he never was a victim. He was not a victim that sat back and was like, well, this, and this, and blah. No, he didn't use excuses. He never used an excuse. He got up, he got off the mat, and he went to work. He got back to the fundamentals. He continued to be consistent. He loved the process. He was real and he was authentic, and he owned his circumstances. Guys, what can you learn from the life of Kobe Bryant? What can you learn from the Mamba mentality? Because the year is 24, guys. This is a perfect year to use this as a staple as you're progressing through the year of being the best version of yourself. What are you doing? What is your constant quest? What does that look like for you to be the best version of yourself? Because, guys, I need you to be yourself. We all need you to be yourself, because the world needs you to be yourself. Have a good day, guys. Bye.